Welcome on into HouseOfSparky.com. I'm Troy Lynch alongside Madden and Matthew Tonis. And it was a topsy-turvy game. Things got off to a fast start for the Sun Devils, and all of a sudden, in the second quarter, came to an abrupt stop. It was 14-0 going into the second quarter, all of a sudden 14-13 at halftime. Max, simple question, what exactly happened?
Well, they got off to a really, hot start, as like you said. Manny Wilkins started out 10 for 10 in the game. They really started to light it up offensively. A lot of what we saw last year with the simple screens and such like that. But New Mexico State, started to really figure it out when ASU couldn't run the ball up the middle, and so they had to force it into the flats, and their linebackers picked up on that, and that's really what caused the score to get so close. Yeah,
it looked like the defense, they were doing a really good job. I mean, there were a couple really solid plays coming from New Mexico State University. I mean, that one catch from Jaleel Scott, the one-handed touchdown, you can't go up against that. I mean, the defense fought in the first half, but they still gave up 529 yards total.
Yeah, it was toward the end, it got kind of out of hand. Same thing that happened in the second quarter. ASU really did not finish out the halves well, but for the first half of each half, so the first and third quarters, the defense played really well. And after that, I think it was a little bit, the starters played every snap of the first half and every snap of the third quarter, and things just they got a little bit tired, and it caught up with them how much they were playing. After the game, Tayshawn Smallwood and Todd Graham both said that the defense is capable of doing it and they expected it, but in this kind of heat for the first game of the year, that's a tough situation to put your defense in.
Yeah, all eyes were on Phil Bennett's defense because obviously Arizona State, second worst defense in the country last year, but a lot of new cornerbacks. We lost Armon Perry and Kareem Orr during the offseason, but we had guys like Kobe Williams. He had a pick six, and the defense, they did all right.
Yeah, I mean, neither of these guys had played a single snap of Division I college football, and, they did let a lot of things in front of them, but that's kind of Phil Bennett's plan with this group is he's going to play the zone, he's going to let them rest back, and going to let things happen and develop in front of them so they can wrap up. They did look better tackling tonight, although they did let in more yards, but, I mean, they didn't really ever get beat over the top, and that's kind of what's going to happen when you have someone like Joey Bryant, a track and field star that's not going to, a lot over the top, so I think they look pretty good.
You mentioned a couple guys on defense who are playing their first Division I snaps. A guy on offense who played his first collegiate game. He's been in college for 3 years, John Humphrey. He ended the game leading in receiving yards with 123, and he also had a 60-yard touchdown catch from Manny Wilkins, but he performed real well.
Yeah, Humphrey's a speedster that adds a completely new level to this passing game. With Ryan Newsom out today, Humphrey stepped up. He was that speedy target. He can get past that second and third level of the defense and make plays over the top. And if you have that guy, it opens up so much of the game on levels 1 and 2 and in the running game. If Manny Wilkins can consistently find Humphrey deep, or at least show the threat of finding Humphrey deep, all the other receivers will benefit, as will Kalen Ballage and Demario Richard when he gets healthy.
Humphrey looking like a good substitute for Tim White, who was an undrafted free agent to the Baltimore Ravens. But we'll stick with the offense right now. The offensive line gave up 6 sacks on the night. You wouldn't really expect that from a team like New Mexico State University. What was wrong?
Yeah, ASU last in the Pac-12 last year in sacks allowed, and unfortunately for the Sun Devils, picked up right where they left off this year. Manny Wilkins was under pressure most of the game. He looked uncomfortable in the pocket at times, and you can't have that against a team like New Mexico State with very good teams in the Pac-12 coming up on your schedule. So ASU needs to figure that out. I don't know if that means more running plays, more play action to try to throw off that defensive line. But if they can't do that, then it's going to be a long year for whoever's taking snaps, because Manny Wilkins might not be able to stay healthy behind this line.
Yeah, a lot of things to figure out for the Arizona State Sun Devils. We heard from Tayshawn Smallwood after the game. He said there's a lot of things to work on, and we're just getting started. Max, if you're Coach Todd Graham right now, what do you think you need to fix? What's the first thing?
I think a lot of the blocking protections, like we just mentioned, need to be fixed because, that forced them immediately to sort of throw out to the flats. Todd Graham likes to call like bubble screens and things like that run plays. They're not really run plays. And so when you're trying to establish an offensive rhythm, you need to be able to run the ball up the middle and pound it so that you have the threat of a deep pass. If you can't do that, then N'Keal Harry, John Humphrey are going to be pretty useless. So the offensive cohesiveness starts with a solid offensive line.
Well, the Aggies, more yards than the Sun Devils, but the Sun Devils, they led on the scoreboard in the final score, 37-31 here at Sun Devil Stadium. We want to thank you so much for joining us. He's Matthew Tonis. He's Max Madden. I'm Troy Lynch. Catch more post-game coverage on HouseOfSparky.com. Sparky.com, and we'll see you next Saturday against San Diego State.